Richarlison was Spurs' marquee signing of the 22 summer window, as they paid £60 million in search of elite attacking depth for the squad. And the start was kind of promising with him getting a brace in his CL debut, but overall he struggled to get going as a side option to Son and Kane, also having some injury issues throughout the year. Then it was looking rough at the start of the next year, as the pigeon was not flying as the main man after Harry Kane left, but after getting groin surgery and going to sports therapy, things began to turn around. He was going crazy in the winter, scoring 9 goals in 8 games, and while every time his shirt came off something went wrong, there was hope now that he could finally be our R9. But unfortunately his injury issues have gotten worse, and maybe our medical team is to blame, but nevertheless, while I love the guy and he always gives his all, he's just been okay, not worth his fee. Pedro Porro was signed the window after Richarlison on deadline day for $45 million, as we desperately needed an Emerson Royale upgrade for Antonio Conte's wingback system. Emergoat was my guy, but after saying you spend $1 million on your development and immediately getting a red card in the next game, something had to change, and Porro did that right away. He was much better on offense than defense at first, getting lost sometimes in his half but being a great crosser and overlapper in the other, and later on in his career his defending has also kind of improved. He became an inverted fullback under Ange, and his passing ability was now even more useful, and paired with his better defensive ability, Porro has now been a key player for us for multiple seasons. He's also been very durable, so I'd say he's definitely been worth the money, but right now he is out injured, so even he has not escaped the Spurs injury bug. Man, get our medical team out of here, man. Might as well get some 7-year-olds in here, man. At this point, like, they might even do a better job. Dejan Kulusevski was the big signing of the previous January window, first coming in on loan and then signing permanently for $40 million total. He actually was a wonder kid that has stagnated on Juve's bench, but his talent instantly shone through for Spurs, forming a deadly front three with Son and Kane and helping us tip Arsenal to top 4 that season. He was such a good winger, and we thought we had a star on our hands, but his first full season didn't go as well, as he suffered from a thigh injury and wasn't consistent throughout the year. But then once Ange arrived, Kulusevski gradually moved to a more central role, and here's where he has really blossomed, being our best ball carrier since the great Moussa Dembele and also being one of our best creators. Kulusevski rarely loses the ball and always looks to drive forward, something we really need right now. But guess what, man? He's been out the whole season with a knee injury, and there's no end in sight for his recovery. Like, we've gotten 0 updates. Like he might not even exist anymore, man. I don't know. Ivan Perisic was another signing for Conte's system, this time on the left side, and he actually came in on a free transfer. So we thought we got a coup, and at first we were correct, as Perisic was a mainstay at left wingback for us, providing exactly what Conte needed, and he folded Van Dijk like a lawn chair. Age kind of caught up to him in the second half of the season though, and after Ange came in, his qualities became less useful, as he came off the bench for the first few games before sadly tearing his ACL in training. This was a tough injury to get at 34, so he never played for us again, moving back to his childhood club in 2024, which went wrong as he was removed from the squad after a dispute with manager Gattuso. Now he's at PSV, where he has actually recovered very well, winning the title in his first season as one of their best players, and is still producing at a high level today. And while it didn't go amazing at Spurs, he was pretty good for us and cost nothing. Djed Spence had a tough start at Spurs, being branded a club signing by Conte, so basically admitting that he didn't want him. And after his £20 million move, in the beginning it looked like a complete waste of money, as he had numerous attitude issues with multiple different managers across Spurs and his multiple bad loan spells. It started this way with Ange as well, but something clicked in him and he matured in 2024, and during our injury crisis, Spence became a surprise key standout. He not only filled in at left back, but at times completely shut down that side, combining great pace and strength with cleanly timed tackles and progressive carries in attack. And now he's honestly one of our best players, having also got his first England caps this season, showing how sometimes young players just need some time and trust put into them instead of being written off right away. Bissouma was signed for £25 million to be our new number 6 in the mold of Moussa Dembele. The big muncher and Ndombele had failed, so we hoped the proven Prem guy would do the trick, but he had a tough start as Conte preferred the established players of the team while Bissouma adapted to the system slowly. And he just didn't get much play at all in his first season with us, only getting 12 stars total and suffering a season-ending ankle injury in February. But once Ange arrived, he began as the perfect fit for him. Man, when I tell you, he looked like he looked so good. He looked like Makelele, Zidane, Conte, Gullit. Man, I do not care what people say, man. He was so good. He had like 3 people on him, and he would just turn out of the situation. He would just run through an entire defense. He was so good for like 5 games. Like, I'll never forget. But yeah, after that, his form dropped as he got some red cards and his risk-taking style began to go the wrong way, and he's also been caught doing some gas, so now it's just been mostly negative. Bentancur was actually Conte's first signing for Spurs, bought for a pretty cheap 16 mil to provide some numbers in our depleted midfield at the time. He ended up quickly becoming a main option in the middle, forming a great partnership with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, being a great defensive mid but also having some offensive progression skills in him. Then he was honestly one of, if not the best player for us in the season after. As while the team crumbled and Conte got sacked, Bentancur could do everything in midfield on both sides of the ball. He brought ball carrying, getting out of tight spaces, and had some late winners as well, but unfortunately this was all ended when he tore his ACL after a rough challenge against Leicester. And since then he has just been trying to get back there, being decent but nothing too special, now playing in the famed Betinha partnership that has zero creativity, but overall I think he's been a pretty good transfer. We did Everton wrong to get Arnaud Danjuma, as he had his entire medical done and was at their ground, but then we slid into the fold and snapped him away on loan. Brought in January to alleviate, you guessed it, more injury issues, Danjuma was bright in his debut and got a goal off the bench, but largely did not make an impact in his 6 months with us. After only playing 12 games, we didn't activate the buy option, so he rejoined Villarreal, and then Everton finally got their guy and this time successfully signed him on loan. But he only got 2 goals there and was injured for 3 months, and after another loan that went better at Girona, he is now permanently at Valencia, where he's been solid, but yeah, pretty weird career path. Destiny Udogie was the work of Don Perisic, scouted and signed at 19 from Udinese as one of the most promising fullback talents in Europe. My boy Perisic had been on him for a while, and we got him for only £15 million, looking like a steal after we loaned him back to Udinese for a season, and he played exceedingly well there. He had all the physical tools, being 6'2", strong and extremely fast, and when he came into Andy's team at 20 and instantly locked down the left back spot, he looked like he'd become one of the best fullbacks in the world. A moderate hamstring injury ended that season early though, and while we weren't worried at the time, we really should have been, as since then he has, like many others, struggled with numerous little fitness issues. So his development and consistency have taken a hit, being a very solid player for us when he's on, but that doesn't happen as much as it did in season 1. But he's only 23, so hopefully he can get back on track soon. Forster was brought in to back up Hugo Lloris and just be a good veteran presence for us. Lloris got injured in the winter of that season, so Forster actually ended the year as starter and was just okay, you know, nothing special. And yeah, I'll just keep it quick. He was just a solid locker room guy, won the Europa League with us, and is now at Bournemouth as backup to Djed Petrovic. Clement Lenglet was also brought in as rotation, as we got a former top-level Barcelona defender on loan after his big drop in form. Conte wanted a left-footed defender for his back three, and he was kinda alright for us, playing 34 games and just being there, to be honest, which I guess is satisfactory for a defender. It wasn't enough for us to bring him back permanently though, so in the next season he was loaned back to England for Aston Villa this time, but being behind Pau Torres, he played much more sparingly for them. So after yet another loan, this time to Atletico Madrid, someone finally wanted to own him for real, as they brought him back on a free in 2025, where he's again just existed, you know. I don't know what you really want me to say, like he is just one of the professional football players of all time, like. But a much more interesting defender is Cristian Romero, who we signed for a big £47 million after he won the Serie A Defender of the Year. He came in on loan at first in 2021 and then was made permanent under Conte, instantly becoming a rock at the back and being our best defender most games, but also sometimes trying to eviscerate the opponent and giving away cheap fouls. In 2022, he won the World Cup with Argentina, being their best defender, starting to get in the convos for being world class, but despite his high level play, his cards and temper still sometimes got the better of him. He's formed one of the best CB partnerships in the Prem now with Van de Ven, but they've both been heavily injured during their time together, so we haven't really been able to build on them to get out of our current dark period. And man, he's just a polarizing and complex player to talk about, because most of the time he is really good, and from my perspective, I thought the temper was starting to get better once he was made a club captain. So he'll play really solid for like 89 minutes, but then just have this moment of madness where he attempts to put someone out for the season with a broken leg for no good apparent reason. So I just don't know, man. I think some of his recent reds were maybe a little unlucky, but still to take shots at the board, which I actually agree with, and then proceed to get sent off in the next game is just like, dang, man. I don't know, in my opinion. Great player, just flawed. I'd appreciate if you liked and subscribed if you enjoyed the video. Comment below what you want to see next, and thank you for all the support so far.